Good evening, everybody. Roland coming to you tonight with a very heavy heart and a lot on my mind. The last 2 days have just been surreal or unreal. It's just difficult to process with the loss of Adam. He's one of those people where you it's like the sunrise. You expect to see a video from him every day. He's going to be here every day, much like Camo Dave was the same way. And now that he's been taken away, it's just put a lot into perspective. I hadn't been watching a lot of his videos. I still would watch them from time to time. I would skim through videos. I did watch all of the Grinch video, which I thought was funny. And it's sad that that was his last video. I wasn't even sure if I was going to make a video because the YouTube has been flooded with tribute videos. A lot of great videos out there, from different people, different walks of life, different sized channels, talk about how much Adam meant to them. And, I wasn't sure if I should even chime in, really. I kind of wrestled with that. And I'm like, well, I got a few thoughts. Might as well just sit down and just talk it out. Normally, I don't check Adam's Instagram to see what he posts, but I noticed he hadn't uploaded a video. And then I checked Instagram, and of course, there was nothing there. And I thought, that's a little unusual, because normally he puts that up there. And then a little while later, the Reddit group came through, and, there was a rumor that something had happened to him. And a friend of mine that lives down there in that area, he sent me a message, and he pretty much confirmed. I didn't say anything to anybody because I didn't know, what to think. He told me that, his house was surrounded by the police, the tape, Germa was there, and all of that. And it was shocking. It was sad. And I'm still in shock about it. It's been amazing though how many lives that he's touched. How far this news of his passing has carried. I mean, it even made the local news here. It made People Magazine. It's just amazing. And I thought that one time I thought about doing a video where I was going to share like some of my favorite Adam moments and a few clips and whatnot. And I just never got around to it. And I figured that now would be the perfect time to talk about a few things and remember Adam in my way. So let's start all the way back at the very beginning. One of the very first videos I ever watched of his back in 2014, I think, was when he went to the land of Oz here in North Carolina at Beach Mountain. He came through North Carolina, my home state, with some regularity. And I was just looking for a video about, Land of Oz. And it just popped up. And I started watching this one, and I kind of started digging into some of his other videos. It's funny to go back and watch these old videos now. It's almost like reading through old love letters. It was a reminder of what you enjoyed so much about this individual. He also went to Danville, Virginia, which is where I grew up, and he covered what was left of Dan River Mills. Of course, that's all been demolished, and there's a casino there. Yeah, I know. And I thought that was a funny video because there was some noise, and he grabbed a weapon of some sort, and he was ready for action. I think first and foremost, the memory that really sticks out to me is the drone years. Back in 2016, he got a Phantom 4, and that's what got me into drones. And I got one a couple years later, and in this video, he crashed it into the wall, and I did the same thing. Of course, it wasn't a Phantom 4 at the time; it was a Phantom 3. But I really enjoyed his drone content because he was a good pilot. He had a good eye. It just enhanced his videos. And there was one particular video I'll never forget that he crashed a drone on the other side of this fence, and he had to go and salvage different pieces trying to get the drone, and finally he did, and that was funny. Adam came to Greensboro, High Point. He covered filming locations. He also covered the giant Chester drawers, which he called Chester drawers, which is what I always called it too. Even some of the murals, he was a big fan of Mount Airy. He went there a few times. I'll never forget one time he was coming through Roanoke, Virginia, and he stopped at some random neighborhood and found these pink flamingos, and he had those things for years. There was just something different about the van days. It was just free spirit. You never know where he was going to end up, and even when he bought the RV, which I enjoyed all of his RV content too. I used to watch his videos every day. I remember when I used to work at one of the banks, I would, on my lunch break, I would always watch Adam's newest video and see where he was in the RV. And speaking of the RV years, every time he went through Texas, he would stop at Buc-ee's. I had never even heard of Buc-ee's before watching Adam. So that was another thing that I picked up from him. And I didn't visit Buc-ee's until a couple years later, but I would always think of him every time I stopped over there too. And I'll always remember the day that he hung out with Camo Dave. I actually found Dave through searching for Adam's video. I got to meet Camo Dave and hang out with him, and he was very kind, very nice. Almost got to see Adam one time in Denver. I missed him for about 30 minutes or so, but yeah, that was a nice conversation. It's sad that Dave passed away the day after Christmas, and Adam passed away just a few days before Christmas in a very similar fashion, both at home and their sleep. We presume heart attack. Don't know for sure. Not going to speculate, but it's just sad. I feel like these two were the pillars of the Boyd community, because a lot of the people that I met were centered around them, and now with them both being gone, it's just sad. He also introduced me to John Wayne Airport, which is one of my favorite airports in Santa Ana, California. I didn't know a lot about it until I watched some of his videos, and apparently it was one of his favorites too. So we also had that in common. I used to talk a lot about how I missed Adam's drone content, and he always said he would never buy another drone. And I mentioned it several times, and lo and behold, before international travel, he bought this cheap drone, and I knew it was going to be terrible, but it was still funny to watch him try to fly this thing around with a terrible camera. Also had a good laugh when he met Figment. I had never even heard of Figment. I ended up taking my daughter to Disney, and we saw Figment. And what made it even funnier was Adam's interaction with Figment. And then came the Halloween episode where he dressed up as a sheriff, and he kept saying he was on patrol. And that was funny because it was almost like reverse trolling. And I felt like he got the joke. I could have been way off, but that was just the feeling that I got. And I'll even miss the road trips. I'll miss the times that he just wandered through somebody's yard recording. I was actually looking forward to seeing where he was going next year. I was going to watch and possibly cover it. I'll miss seeing a video or a thumbnail and be like, hey, I know where that is. I'll miss the piping hot caffeinated beverages. I mean, you got to give the guy credit. I mean, he came from living in a van, eating tuna out of a can, to flying first class, going international. He did what he said he was going to do. He went international, and he lived life to the fullest. And I never thought I would say this, but I will actually miss those god-awful shots of the jetway and the various planes and the various cards and the various shots of his food. He didn't know what a Madeline was, or Madeline. I can't even say it myself. And also, when I was headed to Jacksonville, I made a point to stop off at the fountain, and I put some stickers there, which I still don't know who got those, and got shots of that big-ass clock. And damn if I didn't say, there goes the monorail. And Adam used to have this mantra that he abandoned in later years, but maybe I just didn't see it right. Maybe it was something different. Maybe it was simply live. And that's what he did. Every single day. He did what he wanted to do until the very end. And I can't fault him for that. Because that is what we should all aspire to do.
Not everyone, actually no one, is going to live forever, including me. And it also makes me wonder, like, what if this was my last vlog? What if there was no vlog tomorrow? What would my legacy be? I know this is a very dark and kind of depressing subject. Life is good. Make the best of it. You never know when this could be your last day. It could be my last day. It could be your last day. You never really know what the future holds for any of us. Have a great day. I love you guys. Tomorrow we will go back to our normal, goofy, happy, campy self. But please take these words to heart. Make the best of every single day. See you guys later.